important question you can ask yourself after who you're going to choose to live with your partner, which obviously I hope will be me. No, but seriously, if you check at that, the question's been asked 9 years ago, 7 years ago, a month ago. People always wonder, is it too late to buy a Bitcoin or not? And that's a question that I know. That's a question I talked about more than 7 years ago. Now, you understand the price of Bitcoin at that time was different. But I want to really bring something that's not going to be just, oh, yeah, you need to buy Bitcoin because this, or that. We're just going to make ourselves based on the fact, and you're going to see depending of your situation, because where you are now in life is different from everyone else. And if that might be interesting for you or not, because I believe that it's not for everyone, particularly when my grandma called me and told me that, oh, I heard about Bitcoin on the TV. You don't want to be that person. The only thing we can compare is the adoption, the evolution of the inflows, and what are the whales doing. You always want to know what are the richest people in Bitcoin doing, because that's them who control the market. It's like BlackRock is controlling the stock market and a lot of the housing market in the US. If you follow them, you will have some good idea. So for example, the Bitcoin owners today is around 330 millions, but not much. It's not that much. It means only 4% of the population. I believe it's actually less. If we compare internet in 96, it was 1.4% and 70 million, 77. Now, today it's 5.5 billion and 68%. Now, can we expect everyone who has internet that's going to want to have Bitcoin? I would say no, because not everyone has financial education and knows about this. So if you've been in a country with crazy inflation, then you may be more receptive to the idea of having an asset that the states cannot take from you, that the state cannot print. You want to increase your wealth and you're able to take a risk for that. So we don't have really a comparison point. But to say that the number of people who want Bitcoin will double or triple, that's an easy yes. And the asset that is always compared to is gold, and gold has a crazy growth, right? They say Bitcoin is too volatile, it's too da-da-da-da-da. Well, then gold is volatile as well, because in 4 years it doubled in value. That's volatility. Things that goes up and down, or if it goes up fast, is volatility. And actually, at the same time, Bitcoin was a 900 trillion market cap, and now it's at 2000. So they did the same thing. So can you imagine? And that's where it starts to become interesting. There's a lot of money in the market, and there's a lot of money to be invested. Why? It's not that Bitcoin goes up. It's more the US dollar value and euro value and British pound, sorry if you have those, are going down crazy because they've been printing them. So that's how the asset that is the oldest on earth, gold, that I don't know why humans say, oh, it's shiny, it's yellow, we like it, doubled in value. And Bitcoin only doubled in value when it's a much smaller asset. So that means the possibilities of doubling, tripling, quadrupling are actually possible. They are actually possible. Now, we will see. It's probably going to happen around our generation. But if you choose to invest in Bitcoin or gold, I'm not going to judge. Just to say that by this chart, if you bought it into Bitcoin, you would have more gold today if you decided to sell your Bitcoin. So you got to ask the younger generation, what do they want to do? Do they want to buy some gold, or do they want to buy some Bitcoin? I personally ask all the entrepreneurs that I know around 22 years old, and they always say Bitcoin is the only proper investment and the only currency you can travel, because you can travel with it, you can sell it where you want, you can sell it peer to peer. You don't need a banking system, and now you can even send it without internet. So it's nothing blocking you from using Bitcoin. But we got to know if still we have some adoption, but are we going to see a dip in it, or is it going to grow? And that's where a lot of people will compare what's going on with Bitcoin, which is the evolution of it, where the supply is reduced, because Bitcoin has a limited supply of 21 million Bitcoin. They are not all minted yet, and they are minted every time when validators validate some transactions, the miners, we call them. And every 4 years, approximately, the production is divided by 2. And that's how the Bitcoin is becoming more and more scarce. And they have this model that is called the stock to flow. And basically, it's just having supply and demand. However, we know that the supply now is slowing down. And we could say that Bitcoin is not even getting more minted, but it's already decreasing because some people will lose their Bitcoin, they will lose their wallet. Like there's never going to be 21 million Bitcoin in circulation. There's already 1 million Bitcoin down the wallet of the creator, Satoshi Nakamoto, that never moved. So we believe that it's never going to move. So that's 20 million. And then there's estimation between 3 to 4 million of Bitcoins that are lost. So that's already only 16 million. That's not much. So if you own one in this, that would be interesting. And when you compare the size of Bitcoin, because if we take it just alone, yeah, Bitcoin at 100K, wow. But if we take a Bitcoin, $2 trillion market cap, while actually gold is at 23, Bitcoin is a drop in the ocean. It's nothing. It's nothing compared to gold, art, cars and collectible, and equities. Nothing. And I believe that equity is going to get disrupted in the coming years massively. Maybe real estate in the 10 to 30 years. Let me tell you why. Equities, because that's the stock market. Now with AI, we do not know exactly yet what kind of company will stay at the top, probably the one that owns the AI, but how they will work and how the money is going to be flowing around those. The value is going to be created, because if we go into an economy where it's only AI and robots that works for us, well, that's not going to change things. I mean, it's the same thing if you check the stock market before internet, the top companies were totally different. So there's going to be a lot of change here. And gold, we will see where it goes. And real estate, well, a lot of the real estate that is expensive is in the really developed countries, the West, and also Asia, Japan, Korea. But a lot of those countries have a decline in birth rates. So if we have less people on the planet, maybe we will see some change in the real estate market. That's something I do not have the answer. And I'm going to continue to study what's happening on chain. By the way, welcome on Handsome Finance, where we're actually going to study what's happening on chain, because the blockchain is an open ledger, so we can see all the transaction. What's happening on Bitcoin? Who is holding it? Who is selling it? How much money they made? So don't forget to put on your little matcha, and let's get back to it. This one, the halving cycle theory sine wave, I'm going to give you a second to see this beautiful thing that looks like the LGBT flag. Q, and I'm not going to do the whole thing because I didn't learn it at school. So what do we have here? As I said before, the Bitcoin usually have 4 years when the production is halving, reduced by 50%. And that's why we say that always the Bitcoin follow a 4-year cycle. The first cycle in 2011, where it jumped from pennies to few $100s, which was crazy. Then it went down, of course, and then it jumped up to $25,000. I was in that cycle. That was my first cycle. And then after we had the other cycle where it jumped up to $66,000, $70,000. That was the one that was the most popular one, FTX crashes and everything. And then, of course, we'll always have this line, and then it goes down, go back up, and then goes down, and then go back up. So we are probably around this area. And you may thinking, yeah, but then it's not interesting to invest right now because we're almost at this line. And then when this line happened, then it's going to go down. And I'm going to say, yes, but this time is different. No, it's not different, but you have to understand that we are on the logarithmic scale. So the jump from 110 to 180 is actually really small. So if you could double your capital, that would be already pretty cool. And then actually it could go up to the 200K, or I have a guest coming in. Welcoming Dan. He's my quant, my younger quant. Um, I'm trying to teach him how to be rich now. Let's
Oh,
see. So I'm doing
crazy.
more an analysis of the Bitcoin and if it's too late to buy some Bitcoin or not. I'm showing you the screen,
Oh, shoot.
and then after
I don't think it's too late at all.
you don't think? How old are you? How old are you then?
I'm 25 years young almost in 3 months. I'm 24.
Yeah. So and for you, which asset? If I give you today, I gave you $1 million. Where would you put that money in?
Bitcoin.
All in.
I would put 40% into Bitcoin, 20% into Solana, and I put the rest in a low yield saving account, a high yield saving account.
Okay.
Low yield.
No, yeah, he won low returns. That's what I'm talking about, and that's the guy, by the way, that was testing your AI before they were coming out. So that's the thing. Is younger generation they're only interested in that, and in younger generation they're gonna be the one that banks the most on AI and all the new technology. Same as the younger generation banked on the internet and the computer. Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, they were all younger than anyone else. And because they don't have baggage, they go all in into that. So you gotta look where those people are gonna put their money. And that Bitcoin cycle, we are towards the probably maybe an end of the first one, unless we see a change in the 4 year cycle, which is possible because something happened in this cycle, towards the bottom of that cycle that we're going to study, that was really different. A hint is the ETF of Bitcoin and why it's so different from the rest now. And that's why, like from here to 300K, you see, it's not a big move. So it could happen. It could happen. Like some people say it's going to be to 750K by the end of the year. Hey, I would be happy. I don't think it's going to happen, but normally what you think will happen is not what's going to happen. Otherwise, we will all be billionaires, right? So now, the fear and greed index, always important. Are people scared or are people feeling so good about Bitcoin? Now they start to feel good. They start to feel great. We start to hear it in the news. When you don't hear about Bitcoin, they laugh at Bitcoin. Like you can follow the German government. Germany has been taking bad decisions since 1939. It's a cheeky French pun here for historians. But they sold their Bitcoin at the bottom of the bottom because, yes, some governments, they steal the Bitcoin from people, maybe because they acquired the wrong way or whatever. Same as gold, by the way. Most of the gold acquired by most of the countries was stolen from other people. Now they mine it, but still, most of the reserves are like that. You know who I'm talking about, Switzerland. So we have some period of fear. Now you're not going to go into fear. It's too late. The fear, you're going to have to wait a few years to go back into fear. Like maybe 2027, we're going to be in fears, but what's going to be the bottom in fear? Is it going to be Bitcoin at 100K? And then that doesn't matter. If you invest in Bitcoin for 1 year or 2 years, I would be careful. I wouldn't say like, oh yeah, you should buy some. I'd be maybe you can find something else. But if you are here for 5 years, 10 years, there's probably a no-brainer. But I'm not a financial advisor. I don't even have any diploma about this. That because probably I made my money with investing, and then financial advisors, they need to work because they didn't. And we are talking that we may see another extreme greed. So we are here. And then all those move, again, we are on logarithmic scale. So a move up to 2x the market cap of Bitcoin could happen really fast because you need a lot less money to double the market cap of Bitcoin than from gold. A lot less. And as we know, it could happen. It could happen with a lot of instability, a lot of people wanting to protect their wealth. It's something we could see. And if the money printer goes on, okay. And then if we go into the extreme greed phase, I would consider taking some profit if you have something else to invest in. Because I'm not going to pretend that every time I sold the top and things like that. No, I didn't care because I started to invest in Bitcoin when I was around 22, 23. So I was like, I'm here for the long run. I'm not going to sell it now. It's not interesting for me to sell it right now. If you are, that's good. Actually, I was older than that. I was probably 25. And that's when we can see that we're going to have a volatility pivot happening. That's why I show you all the other graph. This curve here, it's showing the volatility of the price. Volatility is just how fast the price goes up and down. That's just about it. That's volatility. And of course, as Bitcoin grows in value, the general volatility is lowering. Why? Because the market cap is bigger, so you still need more money to make it move up or to make it move down. So it's going to be probably the last cycle where you can actually make really good money with it. And then after the next cycle, it's just going to be like S&P 500. You just keep some Bitcoin, and then instead of doubling your capital every 8 years, it's probably going to double it every 4 years. You have to know that Bitcoin has been the best investment since it's out. Every year, it's plus 60%. The returns is plus 60%. Yes, there's some down, but if you can hold and not care, you're good. And we can see here, we had a down in volatility and we're still around the 100K. So if we have a punch up, as you can see, every time after the spike of volatility, we can see big candles up. That's probably something we want to see. This chart seems to always mark the top and the bottom. So are we at the end of Bitcoin at 120? No. And that's where probably the best time of the market is going to happen, because you remember that beautiful LGBTQ chart is we have the alt season. Alt season is when you start to invest into coins that are useless, but you think that maybe they're going to replace Bitcoin or they're going to become the new thing. Alt season is the best time. It's when the Bitcoin dominance, that means in the market, it gets lower. Because we have the global crypto market. Bitcoin is the largely most dominant one. And when they start to make money in Bitcoin, they're like, okay, I'm going to sell a bit of my Bitcoin and I'm going to more risky bet. So they're going to go into the other coins. I mean, for example, we have some coins that are interesting and we have some other coins that are like totally useless. I probably could do a video another time about it if you are interested in this. And I hope you are. So the altcoin season, we're probably close to it right now because we didn't have it. No one became ultra rich investing into those. However, the altcoin season is always short and tend to get shorter and shorter. So we are right probably before it as we're doing this video. We are into July, we were here, and it could happen right now. It could be starting right now. We had Solana going plus 25% and Ethereum plus 26% in the last 7 days. That's not even like that much risky assets. Like those ones are the big coins on it. And Dogecoin plus 40%. Honestly, if I could be the kind of guy that say like, all right, alt season is starting, I would say alt season is starting because it is. And where I see other supporting data that are interesting is always the Bitcoin exchange balance. Because if everyone is sending their Bitcoin to an exchange, so it means sending it to Binance or Coinbase or whatever flavor of exchange you like, then they will sell it. Because the only reason I would send my Bitcoin to someone else, to a centralized exchange that could go bankrupt, is to sell it. However, the balance has been going down, 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 down. So that means another thing. If there's less balance on the exchanges, well, it means there's less supply to sell. And if there's less supply to sell, price goes up. That's how it works. However, there's one signal, because I'm not going to bull post signals that are not all congruent and true. We see one transfer volume from whales entities to exchange, and it usually happens before the big moves. But it's not been a signal that's been super reliable. As you can see here, whales were sending at the same time here, but the price went down. And now we were seeing less and less, and we saw a spike recently. So that's probably going to be a chart that I'm going to monitor, and we should try to zoom out to get a better idea. But we have two things, a balance going down and whales starting to put a little bit. So that could be a sign that we're going to go towards another uptick. And because Bitcoin, we can actually see the number of investors, we can actually see who's in profit. We know that everyone is in profit pretty much at the moment because of the pricing, but we know that they are not in huge profit. It's like the order of 20, 30%, 40% max, it's not like 5x. There is probably more legs to go. And the number of new participants in the market is not been crazy. That's the number of new addresses. And normally we saw a spike of addresses every time before a big run, and we do not see it right now, which might be because of the ETF, which means that anyone can buy some Bitcoin on exposure to Bitcoin directly from the stock market, and it's much easier. They don't need to take care about security, and that's big for retail investor, but that's way bigger for institutional investments, which are like the pension fund, the retirement fund, the company, treasury, all those things where they can gain easily some exposure to it. And as you can see, apparently the people that invest in the ETF, they just sell when it's down and buy on the way up. So when we're going to see a lower volume of inflow, it's probably going to be a good moment to take profit, because that's what is pushing the price a lot now. Like the ETF is literally what changed the cycle from the previous one. As I say, like this happened mid 2024, at the beginning of 2024, actually. So it's something quite new, and we do not have enough data around it. But I would believe that when the ETF is going to get more and more shares, it's going to change the way we work with Bitcoin, because before people will sell a bit of their Bitcoin on their centralized exchange to buy all those altcoins. And that opened the question of like, how is it going to be for the alt season if we do not have this effect and people just buy more and more and more Bitcoin and just accumulate that, which make me think that Bitcoin seems to be a better investment now than it was before compared to all the other crypto. And that's about it. Now, if you want to see how much Bitcoin you should buy to be in the top 1% of the population and be sure to be the wealthy one, I made a video just right here that you can watch. Don't forget one thing: stay handsome,